أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين وسيد المرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. Respected brothers and sisters, on this grand occasion of the night of the 15th of the blessed month of Sha'ban, I want to congratulate every one of you on the birth anniversary of the Imam of our time, Imam Al-Hujjah Ajallahu Farjuhu Sharif. Salawat, please. And I wanted to acknowledge your presence in the program tonight. May Allah reward you for your good intentions and your participation. I know that we have a number of brothers and some sisters who are standing. Inshallah, chairs are along the way, but your standing, inshallah, is a sign of your standing for Imam Al-Qa'im, Ajallahu Farjuhu Sharif. So inshallah, you'll be counted amongst those who are the muntadhirin for the Imam of our time. Thank you so much. Brothers and sisters, this is an extremely significant night. It is a night where Imam Baqir alayhi salam says that after the night of Qadr, there is no other night that has as much fadila, as much merit as the night of the 15th of Sha'ban. This gives you an example of the merit of this night. And we're celebrating the opportunity to be able to, inshallah, seek forgiveness from Allah and make dua in preparation for the month of Ramadan. In hadith, we're told that the Ahlul Bayt would take this night very seriously. They would encourage their families to stay up the entire night, worshipping and asking Allah and making dua. And so we're very blessed to be able to come together as a community on this night to be able to collectively worship Allah Ta'ala. But other than that, this is the night in which Allah chose for that light to shine in the house of Imam Al-Askari alayhi salam. This is the night in which the world was graced with the presence of the Imam of our time. And so, on this occasion, we are, inshallah, remembering the Imam of the time, earnestly praying for his reappearance and asking ourselves, what does it mean to be one of the true companions of the Imam? I wanted to briefly share with you an ayah of the Quran, which is from Surah Al-Ma'idah, where Allah Ta'ala describes one of His promises. Allah, if you look at this ayah, Allah Ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا من يرتد منكم عن دينه فسوف يأتي الله بقوم يحبهم ويحبونه أذلة على المؤمنين أعزة على الكافرين يجاهدون في سبيل الله ولا يخافون لومة لائم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله واسع عليم. Allah says that if, O you who believe, if there are some among you who are going to turn away from the path of God, if you're not going to carry this mission forward, then you should know that Allah's promise is that there will come a time when there will be people who will have these extraordinary qualities. Some of our mufassirin have categorized these qualities into three categories. Number one is that they have a strong relationship with Allah. They have a relationship of love. In order to love someone, you have to recognize them. You have to know them. So they recognize Allah, they know Allah, and they love Allah. And they also know that Allah loves them. Number two is the relationship with the society, relationship amongst themselves. That they are adillatan ala al-mu'minin. They are humble to one another. Aizzatan ala al-kafirin. They're very firm against the stubborn disbelievers. You know, the word a'izza comes from the word al-ard al-azaz, meaning land which is so hard that nothing can penetrate it. Even if you take a pickaxe and you go and try to hit it, it's not going to break. Allah describes these people who, when it comes to the stubborn believers, they will be that firm. Disbelievers, they'll be that firm. And then finally, their relationship to the society, yujahiduna fi sabilillah. They are constantly struggling in the path of Allah, struggling in all dimensions, struggling in the area of furthering knowledge, in the area of helping others, in the area of struggling against oppression. In every way, they are struggling, and they do not fear the blame of others. They're fearless. Now, these descriptions are beautiful. Which people do they apply to? Some hadiths say they apply to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam and the companions of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Salawat. But we have some traditions which mention that these are the characteristics of the companions of the Imam of our time. That they are the ones who have a relationship with Allah. They know how to deal with one another. And they have a path forward in the society. I want to share one point with you, inshallah, and I want to keep my comments short. 53 years ago, brothers and sisters, 53 years ago, Allama Muhammad Hussain Tabatabai published the commentary of Quran, which is known as Tafsir al-Mizan. And at that time, when it came to this ayah, he says that if we look at the cultural impositions of the godless society upon the society of Muslims, we see that each one of these characteristics, they have imposed something which is the opposite of what this ayah says. He says we live at a time when people are disconnected from Allah. They are seeking love from every source, but they are not seeking it from Allah, and they're not finding that love that they need. He says that in our times, we have believers who are humble to the disbelievers and to the forces of arrogance and stubbornness. But when it comes to themselves, they are very firm, and they have no lenience, they have no tolerance. And when it comes to the path of moving society forward, they do not have any concept of struggle. They're just in their own cocoons. They're living for themselves. And they care so much about what others say about them. When were those comments made? More than 53 years ago. But if you look at our society today, brothers and sisters, we see that this summarizes the social ills that we live in. And when we talk about raising our children to be individuals that Allah is proud of, that we are proud of, that the Imam of our time will be proud of, we're talking about individuals who emulate and embody these incredible characteristics. Brothers and sisters, if we don't have God in our lives and we don't have an emotional connection of love and a bond of love with God, then what do we have? You see, in our society, youth who are running around looking for love on social media, in celebrities. But no matter how hard they try, they cannot find what they actually need. And they enter into a state of depression, not knowing where to go. You find in our society the most embarrassing acts being done by so-called Muslim countries, providing a landing ground for Israeli warplanes so that they can go and further their attacks on occupied Palestine. In some so-called Muslim countries. Of course, there are others who stand firm. And we find rather than a culture of mercy and tolerance, sometimes when the children go up, they say to their parents, so long. You're on your own, I'm on my own. I'm free to make my own choices. And when it comes to not fearing the blame of the blamers, you see that people are hyper obsessed because of the culture about their image. What are people going to say about me? What is my social media profile going to be looking like? Am I going to get likes? What are people going to, are they going to cancel me? Right? These are things, real problems that our youth are facing. And so we have to ask, what can we do to be able to cultivate this type of society of believers who emulate these characteristics and can be leaders for others. Personally, I've searched for many years trying to understand what is our duty as a community, as a society. And one thing that I'm convinced about, and I've dedicated the last number of years of my life towards, is that we need to start with our youth, and we need to build solid institutions of tarbiyah, where we can cultivate these characteristics, where you don't have to be embarrassed to talk about God and how much you love Him, but rather that's something which is the norm. You don't have to be embarrassed to talk about where oppression really lies. You don't have to be embarrassed to show love and kindness and have a family around you. You don't have to be embarrassed about who you are and your identity. And so on this evening, I address Baqiyatullah, and I say that the Imam of our time, that this is what we have done, and this is what we're doing, and inshallah this is a launch pad for being able to create the groundwork for the preparation for your dhuhur. Inshallah, we hope on this evening that all of us embrace this vision of having these type of characteristics amongst ourselves, amongst our youth and our children, and that inshallah we can support the institutions that will strive to achieve that. May Allah bless you all for the hastening of the reappearance of the Imam of our time. Please recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.